Hey there, Alexer, wherever in the world you are. A good number of you are watching this from an airport right now, ready to get on to your next adventure. Some of you are thinking about it. Some of you might have never even considered it. But we're here to tell you it is time to travel solo, my friend. Before the pandemic, about 14% of travelers were solo travelers. That number has now increased to 30%. There's a lot of benefits to traveling solo, and this is your sign to book the flight. And of course, we would never send you off without some solid, valuable advice that'll make your journey easier, safer, and ultimately way more fun. Let's look at these 15 essential travel tips to prepare you for solo adventures. So starting off in a nice, sensible place, number 1, budget, budget, budget. But how, right? Like, where do you start? Well, you can consider this one an important question. Where are you going? In very general terms, mid-level hotel rooms in the most popular solo traveling destinations like Southern Europe, South America, and Southeast Asia go for around $80 to $150, $50 to $100, and $30 to $70 per night, respectively. While hostels go for $20 to $50, $10 to $30, and $5 to $20, respectively, in those places. You work out a day rate for accommodation, transport, meals, and activities for each place, multiply that rate by 30 for each day. Add 20% onto that amount, and you've got your monthly budget. You can adjust your daily expenses based on where you stay and what you do and eat, but what you're spending will depend far more on where you go rather than on what you do. Your budget should focus more on your destination as opposed to your activities and accommodation. Keep your monthly amount in your checkings account so you don't keep all of your money in one place, but you do still have access to it as soon as you need it. Number 2, learn the language basics. Learning the language basics of where you're going isn't just about respect. It also doesn't seem like learning things like hello, please, and thank you will make much of a difference in your traveling life, but trust us, okay? It definitely does. You might be fine with Google Translate back and forth, but your brain isn't. It takes a lot of mental energy to do that dance, and you can conserve that energy for your adventures. You don't have to learn all of the grammar, but knowing basic vocabulary of the food, giving directions, asking for help, and asking them if they speak your language will take away a lot of the stress of throwing your hands up there trying to make shapes to explain something. It quiets the stress of the situation for you and the person you're trying to speak to if you know just a little bit of the language. And people are so appreciative of the effort that you've made that they will go the extra mile for you, too. Number 3, manage your money sources. When you're solo traveling, managing your money goes far beyond your budget. You need your money to be accessible and safe. You're not always going to be able to use your bank card, those quiet countryside getaways under the Tuscan sun. Well, many of those local restaurants and food stores will shake their heads at your debit card. So you will need cash, a backup credit card, and a backup debit card for emergencies, all kept in different places. You need to have enough in your checkings account so you don't have to keep transferring to top it up. But don't put all of your money in there because if you lose that card or someone steals it, you could be left with nothing. Credit cards are for larger purchases like hotel bookings and emergencies. Choose cards that offer low or no foreign transaction fees to save money, and inform your bank about your travel plans to prevent your cards from being blocked due to unusual activity. Some credit cards also offer travel benefits like insurance and purchase protection, so put those to good use too. Number 4, have a communication plan with your family. You need a communication plan with your friends and family back home for 2 main reasons. First of all, safety, of course. You're not going to be able to talk to them every day. You'll be busy. Time zones will be different, and you might be in places where there's no signal. So you need to set up weekly or bi-weekly check-ins that you try your best to make it to. If you don't make it to that call, then that's the signal to your people back home that they'll need to check up on you. Second is loneliness and isolation. It can really hit you when you least expect it. When you're missing the people in your life and at the spur of the moment you decide to call them but nobody picks up, it can suddenly feel very lonely and quiet. Having those days set aside when you speak to your important people in life gives you something to look forward to and reminds you that no matter where you are in the world, you're going to get the chance to share that with the people who matter. Number 5, digital security and allowing yourself some home comforts. Now you're probably wondering how exactly something like digital security has any connection to allowing yourself to have some home comforts while you're traveling. But trust us, okay, they go hand in hand because of one thing: having a VPN. When you're traveling, you're going to be using public networks at coffee shops, airports, and the free city Wi-Fi. This can be a one-way ticket to Scamville, so you need to make sure your data is protected. The first thing, obviously, is to create strong passwords for all of your devices, something that contains a mix of numbers, special characters, and upper and lowercase letters. You know the drill by now. Because the public networks are unsecured, it's easier for hackers to intercept your data. A VPN encrypts your internet connection, so you're putting a significant barrier to this interception. The VPN also allows you to watch all of your favorite TV shows from back home. You'll soon realize that so many of your favorite shows are not available in different countries. Some days, you just want to chill out in a hotel room with a pizza by your side watching your favorite show, and you might not be able to do that if you don't have a VPN. The Alux team works from all over the world, and we travel a lot, so we need services like NordVPN. We've all been using it for about 5 years, so we can personally vouch for it. NordVPN was kind enough to sponsor this video and offer all of our Aluxers a deal with 2 great features. First, when you buy the 2-year NordVPN plan, you'll receive 4 bonus months on top of that, and you'll get a data voucher for up to 20 gigabytes. If you've ever been abroad, lost with no internet connection, then you know how stressful and scary it can be. Saily is an eSIM that will give you an internet connection wherever you go, so you save a ton of money on roaming fees and even more on your stress and worry levels. That data voucher is going to be like a life raft in a storm. Go to nordvpn.com/Alux to get the Alux exclusive offer right now. Number 6. Take care of your health. This can seem like the boring, paranoid part of traveling until there's an emergency. You don't know what kind of medication is going to be available in another country, and it might be difficult finding it with a language barrier. Your immune system is also primed to the country that you're living in, so when you're going to new places, things like the weather, the food, and the water can affect you far more. So get those vaccines: rabies, malaria, yellow fever, or typhoid, whatever you need for the country you're going to. Make sure to get these well in advance because some vaccinations need multiple doses or time to become effective. Pack a thorough travel health kit. Include essential medications, such as any prescriptions you take regularly, and over-the-counter medications for common issues like pain, diarrhea, allergies, and motion sickness. Also, bring a basic first aid kit with bandages, antiseptic wipes, and tweezers. Adding a thermometer is a good idea too, especially during times like the COVID-19 pandemic. Be cautious about food and water safety. In many places, tap water isn't safe to drink. Stick to bottled or filtered water and avoid ice unless you're sure it's made from safe water. And choose restaurants and food stalls with good hygiene practices. While street food can be very tempting, ensure it's cooked thoroughly and served hot. Number 7. Pack smart. All the problem-solving and strategic skills you've developed in life are gonna come in handy when you need to start packing. You need to balance bringing everything you need while keeping your luggage manageable. Choose versatile clothing that can be mixed and matched, and consider the climate of the destination you're going to. Roll your clothes to save space, and use packing cubes to keep your belongings organized. Don't forget things like a universal adapter, a small first aid kit, and a portable charger. Keep important documents, such as your passport and travel insurance, in a secure, easily accessible place. Number 8. Follow cultural etiquette. Understanding cultural etiquette is key to respectful and enjoyable travel. Research local customs, traditions, and social norms before you arrive. In some cultures, certain gestures or behaviors that are perfectly acceptable at home could be considered rude or inappropriate. For instance, in Japan, it's customary to bow when greeting someone, and in many Middle Eastern countries, showing the soles of your feet can be seen as disrespectful. Dressing appropriately is also important. In more conservative countries, wearing modest clothing can show respect for local customs. Number 9. Be prepared to make friends with locals. Gaining insights can enrich your travel experience immensely, so speak with locals and ask for recommendations on where to eat, visit, and explore. They can show you to hidden gems not listed in the guidebooks. Use online forums, social media groups, and travel blogs to connect with people who have visited your destination before. Apps like Meetup can also help you find local events and activities where you can meet new people and learn more about the culture you're visiting. Number 10. Listen to your instincts. Some days you might be perfectly fine going on an adventure with someone you've just met, and other days, even the safest situations seem a bit off and you can't quite put your finger on why. Well, this is where you need to listen to your instincts. Solo traveling is not the time to ignore your gut. If something doesn't feel right, trust your gut and remove yourself from the situation. Whether it's deciding to avoid a certain area or feeling uneasy about a person you've just met, prioritizing your safety is paramount. It's better to be overly cautious than to put yourself in a potentially dangerous situation. Number 11. Download offline maps. Resources like Google Maps allow you to download your maps to use them offline, which can be a lifesaver when you don't have internet access. This way, you can navigate unfamiliar cities, find your way back to your hotel, or locate nearby attractions without needing a data connection. Number 12. Look into local transportation. There are a myriad of transportation options around, but they don't all work in every country. Like in Ireland, for instance, they use Free Now, and getting an Uber can be a lot harder. In Southeast Asia, Grab is more popular and cheaper than Uber. And beyond that, research how to use public transit systems like buses, trains, and subways. Find out if there are travel passes or discount cards for tourists. In many cities, public transport is not only cheaper, but also more efficient than taxis. If you prefer more independence, consider renting a bicycle or a scooter. And always make sure to know the routes and schedules and keep some local currency handy for ticket purchases. Number 13. Get travel insurance. Travel insurance is essential. It is your safety net against unexpected expenses and complications. Medical emergencies abroad can be very costly, and some countries require payment up front. With travel insurance, you're covered for hospital stays, doctor visits, medications, and even medical evacuation if necessary, ensuring you get the care you need without the financial strain. Number 14. Secure your valuables. You don't have to spend half your day wrapping up your suitcases, but at least keep a lock on them. Use a money belt or a hidden pouch to carry important items like your passport, credit cards, and cash. And honestly, leave your expensive jewelry at home, okay? Displaying it makes you a prime target. In your accommodation, use the safe to store valuables when you're not around. When you're out exploring, carry only what you need for that day. Leave anything you don't need in your hotel or hostel. And always be aware of your surroundings and stay vigilant in crowded areas where pickpocketing is more likely. Trust your instincts, remember, if a place or situation feels unsafe, leave immediately. And number 15, use expense tracking apps. Tracking your expenses while traveling helps you stay within your budget and avoid overspending. Several apps can help you to manage your money effectively. Apps like Trail Wallet, Expensify, and Travel Spend allow you to record your expenses in real time, categorize them, and see how much you've spent and what remains of your budget. This helps you make informed decisions about where to save and where to splurge. Using these kinds of apps can also help you track your receipts, which is helpful for both personal and, if needed, travel insurance claims. Regularly reviewing your expenses ensures you stay on track and helps you to adjust your spending if necessary. And since you stuck with us until the very end, my friend, you're getting a bonus, and that is to plan your meals. If you're traveling more than 2 weeks and eating out for every meal, well, your body and budget are going to start to feel it. Home-cooked meals are going to save you here, so plan to mix dining out with some meals that you've cooked for yourself. Breakfast is pretty easy, right? You can find cereal anywhere, and very few things beat a homemade toast, eggs, avo, and bacon situation. For lunch, consider buying fresh, local ingredients from markets and having a picnic. It's cost-effective, and it gives you a chance to experience local flavors in a different setting. You're going to learn so much on your travels, Aluxer. It is the quickest and most fun way to grow exponentially. The journey is going to be so much fun, and if you follow these 15 tips, it's going to make everything come together perfectly. Are you ready, my friend? All right, let's go.